And go. Oh, whoops. I left a little.
We're doing great so far.
I haven't even got started. The theme song's almost over.
Gotta look up how this logo looks.
Oh boy. You know what time it is, Ian?
8 p.m. It's actually 8:07 p.m. on a Monday afternoon Eastern Standard Time.
Which is when DrawBomb starts at 8:07.
Oh, fuck. You're right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Welcome to DrawBomb, everyone.
Welcome.
If this is the first time you've joined us, how would you describe this operation we got going?
Oh, welcome to DrawBomb, the streaming show that asks the question, if the moon really was made of cheese, how long would you have to put it into the microwave for before you could drizzle it over nacho chips?
Can you drizzle cheese if you put it in the microwave? I feel like it
It
melts
like,
and then burns.
Yeah,
or
like sears itself to like
caramelizes.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn into like nacho cheese.
No, I guess you're right. I mean, so I guess the answer is like no amount of time is gonna make it in that sort of condition.
Unless it's like queso or something, but that's already pretty liquidy to begin with. You got
Yeah,
Dr. Soundcheck in the chat says about 3 Kims. I don't know what that unit of measurement is.
3 kilometers. Put it in the microwave for 3 kilometers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. No, actually, we're a DrawBomb. We draw and talk for 2 hours, and then you go about the rest of your night.
Yeah. And you just think about the time we had.
Yeah,
a week.
All the memories that we created together. And then we do it again the next week.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah. How have you been this week, Brandon?
I've been good. Been keeping busy. Working a bunch from home, so that's nice. Got to get a little bit more in before I go back in a week.
Yeah, they're gonna start making you go back to the restaurante.
Yeah, that's right, because pandemic be damned, people need to not have to cook their own food. It's
the one thing I miss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I miss it, but that, whatever.
No, yeah. It doesn't excuse anybody. Don't eat at a restaurant, please.
Yeah, it doesn't. Even though it is my job, I still wouldn't recommend it. Even though it is my livelihood, I would not recommend it. Take care of yourself.
I mean, that's how you got the COVID in the first place.
It's true. I was knee deep in the COVID. And,
that's right.
I didn't ask for that fate. God chose that.
If you subscribe to that sort of thing.
Right. God or what have you.
That's that's a great subject to just start things out with our inoffensive show. What religion are you, Brain? No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
What a non.
I'm just the religion of good vibes and
Me too, bro. If the Doom logo had an R in it, how do you think it would look? Because I am having a time.
So I can see from the O that it might. Well, I guess it's only pointy on the bottom, isn't it?
It's only pointy. I mean, it's pointy at the top too, but that's for like when it's like where you would do a serif.
What if you did something like that?
Yeah, I think that's gonna make the most sense. I was trying to kind of like usually the letters are like in the.
Yeah, maybe if you angle it a little bit more, you can still make it look like an R. 'Cause, yeah, it does have some A-like qualities to it right about now.
It's looking like an A.
What if you did this? I guess the top is also.
The top is always flat.
Like,
I'll mess around with it.
Angle it
You
up.
get to- Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll get back to work.
You do the stuff that's gonna be actually fun to look at. I'll do the thing that's gonna get covered up by most of the drawing.
just conveniently put the R behind a demon.
There you go. Perfect. So yeah. Gosh.
Oh shit. Oh
What?
god. Thank you, Dr. Soundcheck. The draw pile is not showing up on screen. But
Oh
that's
my
it.
goodness.
You know, we caught it in time.
Thank you, Dr. Soundcheck, for
Boom.
keeping this from being a blank screen stream. Welcome to the special episode, the DrawBomb blank screen stream. It's like when Wacky Deli just had a jar of mayonnaise for the whole episode, or that episode of C-Lab where it was also a blank screen for most of the episode up until they exploded the C-Lab.
You know, once every 57 episodes, we like to do an episode where it's just use your imagination. What do you think we're
Like
drawing?
to switch it up a little bit, you know?
That's
just
right.
like give it a little mix.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Soundcheck. Boy, I would had some egg on my face. Oh.
Scrambled egg all over your face. What's
Yeah.
the way to do?
Watch 11 seasons of Frasier.
I can make those jokes now because I did.
We'll say, I have forgotten to turn the audio on at one episode one time.
That's true. You did. I was
That was a
speaking
fun
for like.
thing.
I felt like I was particularly on fire that episode too, which is like I think the biggest insult was like I was like I'm doing good. I got this. I'm
Yeah.
funny on the internet.
And now nobody but me will know. That's actually why I turned the audio off. Is because I was like, oh, he's upstaging me, and I can't have this.
You were gonna live in my shadow for the rest of your days.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't abide, so I
Could not
took you down.
abide.
But I have never forgotten the video. So
That's a new
it's a new one.
mistake.
I've updated some things since last week, so I guess I did not get that up and running correctly. But they could see our faces and the borders. They just couldn't see the beautiful drawings.
Gotcha. Well, we didn't really get much done by
Exactly.
this point anyway, so it's
No
not like
harm.
glad we caught that one early. You said you made some adjustments. I mean, I know what kind of adjustments you were making. Do you want the general DrawBomb viewing audience to know, or do you want to
Overall, I rehauled my whole sound setup because I used to have to jump through a lot of hoops to get everything working the way I wanted it to, and now I set it up so that it kind of is ready to go no matter what I throw at it. So that's mainly what I did. With that comes some bonuses, but that's the main shtick.
Nothing else? No other fun features of those changes at all or anything?
I actually don't have it up right now, but I'll there are some fun features that I'll get to in a little bit.
Alrighty. In the meantime,
that's one thing I forgot to have ready as well.
Just know, folks, that we were having a blast with these new fun features earlier.
Got everybody wanting to know now.
What could it be? Tune in later on in this, like, stick around to find, like, actually watch the show to find out.
Yeah, once I figure out, or once I finish trying to get this helmet to look right on the draw guy, which is a challenge.
Yeah, I thought you were just gonna do like the draw the bomb head, but I mean this works too. I mean you can kind of. I'm interested in seeing how you approach our classic mascot in this new setting. Which honestly, like when it comes to drawing characters, like original characters, I feel like that is a great way to like get in that practice, you know, of like try drawing them in like as other like dressed up as other characters, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of like an elephant-looking thing going on with this helmet. It's not it's not what I'm going for, so I'm gonna keep tweaking it.
Yeah, he's looking a little Darth Vader, but I mean he looks like the Doom guy. I mean that helmet.
Okay, well that's the goal.
Yeah, that helmet is.
It's pretty good.
You know,
I might color it; it'll look better.
Looks good. It looks. I'm just thinking like the original design for that helmet was
different.
Interesting.
That's a fair description.
I mean, at the same time though, it's, you know, everything, like if you look at a lot of designs for, like there's this website Austin showed me, Austin, friend of the show, guest of the show, Zone Dog, he showed me this website. I wish I could remember the name of it right now because I would just link it in the Discord, which by the way, make sure you check out our Discord. But it's like this website where this guy is a graphic designer and he keeps track of like companies and like how they update their logos and things like that. And it's just like, if you look at the website, it's like all these companies with like perfectly good logos for their business, and then like it's changed to like, that's their logo then, is just like a letter in like a font, an Arial-esque font.
It's very in like, right now to keep it like super simple.
Just make it like an app, you know, like basically every logo needs.
That's actually why. That's actually why, so it looks good on phone screens. That's why everybody's changing their logos. And
you know, it's when you look at the website, like the guy is clearly becoming bummed out by it based on like the way he like his posts are like worded and stuff, but also like it is kind of a bummer to see all these cool logos get like tossed aside for just like, it's a letter in Helvetica.
Yeah, which I don't think is 100% of the time bad, but sometimes it's like, well, that was a downgrade. But it's not always a downgrade. It depends.
It's not always a downgrade, but sometimes it is, and then it's a bummer when it is.
Right. Dr. Soundcheck says, I'm just playing some Deep Rock and drinking some Sour Monkey. It's a good combination.
Right. That is a good combination. I like that Sour Monkey. That's a good beer.
Deep Rock makes me want to drink beer just because
it does.
They really nailed the graphics for the beer when you order one.
Yeah, every time we would like we had a group of people who were playing Deep Rock for a little bit, and every time our characters would do like the toast, we'd all in like the chat be like, God, now I want a beer. Like an actual beer. Yeah. Which it kind of lends some credence to like all those people who are just like, you can't have cigarettes in like this thing because then people will want to smoke, and it's just like, come on, that's bullshit. And then like as a person who drinks beer, like I see beer in a thing and I'm just like, oh, but what if I had beer?
Wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't that be so fucking magical right now?
And it would be.
Every time. It would always be magical to have a beer. But you know, if you're a person who has given up your beer drinking ways, stick with it, because you probably should, and I speak from experience in regards to that.
I mean, you know, you probably know yourself well enough to have stopped for a reason, so...
You've probably found yourself in a couple of predicaments where you're just like, if only I hadn't drank that 15th beer.
Yep, that's always the one that gets you.
Usually, it's... At that point, it's usually not even the one that gets you, it's the one that really... It's like the final nail in the coffin.
Sometimes it's way before that.
It's true. It's frequently way before that. It's just the 15th. You know, it's like when you have a bunch of water in a pot and you're boiling it, and then like you put like that little bit of you put like something else in the pot, and then it just boils the fuck over, and you're just like, I was doing so fine before.
Yes. Exactly like that.
Yeah, it's I'm good at metaphors.
There's one thing we know about you, it's that you're good at metaphors.
If there's anything I'm good at, and there's not a lot of things like that, it's metaphors. Metaphors.
Which is the correct pronunciation.
That is correct. Metaphors. You have to pronounce it like that.
So how's your week been?
Oh, it's been decent. I mean, I can't say anything's gone wrong. Can't say anything's gone particularly right. I would say it's pretty middling.
Okay. Well,
not a lot changes when you're just stuck inside the same house for
True.
half a year.
I mean, I've been inside most of the year myself, as much as I'm able to be.
Yeah.
How was your experience at the post office?
The post office guys weren't wearing their masks, right? So I was kind of glad there was a sneeze guard in front of them, but I was just kind of like the one guy, like you could see like it was like the mask was like mostly there, but like his nostrils had a little bit of breathing room, no pun intended. And then the other guy was just wearing a visor, and I was just like, come on, man, there have been studies that show that doesn't even work.
Right.
Not like by itself, at least. Like when I was working in the bank, I would wear a visor, but I'd wear a mask underneath the visor.
Right, it's like
Sorry, go
an
ahead.
extra line of defense.
Yeah, I'd have a bunch of people walking up to me and be like, "Oh, you able to breathe in there?" And I'd be like, "Better than you, better than most." But yeah, it's man, I am spending way too long on this tech. It was fine though. I mean, I was in and out in like 10 minutes at the most. I would say, not even.
Good. Well, sorry to force you to do such a thing, but
hey, you didn't force me to do a goddamn thing. I'm my own man.
That's true.
I blaze my own trails.
You tell me to do something, I do the opposite thing.
That's right. Reverse psychology don't work on this steel trap.
Unless you say that it won't. Then I'll let it work just to prove you wrong.
So wait, what you're telling me is
Yeah, I'll really break this down.
that reverse psychology doesn't work on me, as ascertained by my previous statement. However, reverse psychology
Works
has
great.
the effect of reversing the reverse psychology, and then that reversal gets reversed and then throws itself into a half Nelson with an armbar, and then that half Nelson armbar becomes a sharpshooter and then a razor's edge, moving on to a tombstone slam followed by a British bulldog, and then it gets reverse psychology.
Exactly. Yeah, you get it.
Cool. Awesome. And in case anyone is aware of wrestling terms, yes, none of those terms I just said are newer than the year 2000. All of my wrestling terms and wrestlers that I know of are circa WrestleMania 2000, the Nintendo 64 game, or just any of the Nintendo 64 games, really. You can't go beyond that, otherwise I'm lost.
Yeah, I know that people like hit each other with chairs.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of knowledge on wrestling, besides that it's real and
Yeah.
you know,
It's real to me, damn
it's a fun time.
we did watch WrestleMania last year.
We did.
Last year.
It was very fun. We placed a lot of bets on it.
We did. We did the old trading places bets, where you bet exactly $1, and we bet with each other on who would win each match, just going off of predictions, without. I mean, Matt kind of had more knowledge of wrestling than either of us, so like he had a bit of an advantage. Yeah, I think I won $1 total. Like I had like at some point $6, and each of you were like in the bag, like $4 to me and $2 to me. And then at some point, I made some bad bets the second day.
You got too confident. You lost everything.
You know, I really didn't expect the Undertaker to literally teleport behind a guy and then.
How could you expect it? I mean, maybe you could have, but no, I didn't either. The Doom guy in the original artwork, his shirt is conveniently ripped just in perfect fashion for his abs to be revealed.
Yeah, and like that's actually like if you look at the game sprites, like that's how their armor was, which just strikes me as a very bad idea. Like let's leave like when dogs like roll over and like show you their belly, like that's their most like vulnerable spot. So like if they're willing to show you their belly, that means they're either gonna fuck you up, or and like they're luring you into a false sense of security, or you know they trust you enough to show you their belly. This is like space armor, and they're like, yeah, show the bellies, give everyone all that belly, get that good belly in there.
In the art it specifically is ripped, you can see, but in the game, like you said, it's just that way.
Yeah, I'm not, and it makes me wonder what came first. The armor or the cover, or the drawing, the sprites, or the you know what I mean.
Unless they were like doing some concept work, I have to imagine that the sprites came first.
I'd have to assume so also,
And then maybe the artist was like, what the? Maybe he had the same realization you did, where he's like, well, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
And I want to be respected as an artist, so I will find reason for this to be happening.
There you go, boom. I actually watched this YouTube video by this guy. I couldn't recognize what his accent was, but he had a really fun to listen to accent. But he basically like says where they got all the art from Doom is like a lot of it is like photo scan stuff. Like they took like toy guns and then like for a lot of the guns in the game and then like photo scanned them to convert them into pixels. For some of the enemies, they made clay sculptures and like photo scanned those in order to get like some of the enemies to look as good as they do.
Oh, okay.
It was very interesting just to kind of watch. Like they had like a little toy chain gun that they used as like the chain gun, and they also used it as like pistons and other background art and things like that.
It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it was a fun video. I'll link to it. He does a lot. Like his whole channel is like deep dives on Doom. Like he has one video where he goes over the AI of the Doom enemies and like how many frames between like noticing you and like attacking you and like real technical stuff. Like he goes into the coding and all that stuff, and I'm just like, oh fuck, man. Like
he likes Doom.
He likes Doom, but also like he knows
Everything.
Yeah, he knows everything that there is to know about Doom. I think I made the word draw too. I thought I was doing like a good halfway split, but
You could shrink it. You can shrink stuff, right?
yeah, I'm gonna do some fancy art stuff here real quick.
I forgot how to draw hands for a minute there. It's alright.
You know what? It's funny because one of the demons on the Doom cover is like grabbing the dude's wrist, and like
Yeah.
on the cover he's just like, "Get off me!"
Yeah.
But
And
it's
I'm going to include that, but we're not there yet. I
You
was
should have-
focusing too hard on the actual art that I kind of,
That's fair.
my brain broke for a second. What were
You should
saying?
have him and the demon just like holding hands,
I'm gonna do that.
and then the demon's going like, "Oh, senpai, notice me." Have you been watching any televisor shows lately? Televisor being Spanish for television set.
Let's see, what did we watch recently? There was something. I can't remember what it was. Oh, so this is trashy television, but we started watching The Bachelor because some of our friends are into it. And we're gonna like meet up and talk about how we hate everybody.
Well, that actually sounds like a lot of fun.
It is, yeah. So we started watching that, and it's some trashy stuff, but it's been so fun so far. What else? We've still been watching Reno 911.
Nice.
Like,
What season are you on?
Like 5 or 6. We're making our way through.
Making your way downtown, walking fast.
Exactly. How about you?
So, as we mentioned earlier, I finished watching Frasier. I was doing a hearty binge of just that entire show. Because I'd like episode 2, I spent like an hour just doing voices of the characters without actually knowing anything about what the characters say or do or how they act.
Right, and you wanted to right that wrong.
I wanted to not only right that wrong, but also I was just like, I should just know about Frasier. And also, like, it's a good show from what I've seen. I'd seen like a few episodes, but not enough to like say I had any beer, to know I had any knowledge of the show. So I was just like, fuck it, I'll watch some Frasier. So I watched all of Frasier. There's not a minute of Frasier, the show, that I haven't seen. Yeah, that's the story. So I finished watching Frasier, so now I'm watching regular show, which is going to be a much less of a commitment.
It's a good show.
It's a good show. I'm loving it. It's good stuff. I remember watching like that show like when it first came out. I was a sophomore in college, so I was very excited, first of all, that there was a show on Cartoon Network that wasn't so kiddie. Because, like, regular show, they're just like, oh, this sucks, that blows.
Yeah.
Poop, pee. Like, they made those kind of...
Pissed off, they say things like that.
Yeah, they do say that. And so I was kind of excited that, like, maybe Cartoon Network was going to be doing some shows more for demographics that weren't, like, 10-year-old kids. But also, I just ended up really enjoying the show. Like, I thought it was just really funny. And then, like, at some point, like... I don't know, like, sometimes you watch shows with people who have negative opinions of things, most things, and then that sort of rubs off on you when you're watching it. So, like, I was watching, like, season 2 with somebody, and somebody was just like, this show's stupid, and I was kind of like, yeah, this season's not as funny as season 1. This show's not so good anymore. And I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. It's the exact same show as seasons 1, 2, and 3 so far, so, like, whatever. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's good stuff.
Cool. How many seasons are there for a regular show?
There are 8 in a movie. 8 seasons in a movie.
Okay. I don't think I've seen the movie.
I haven't seen the movie either, but I figure this is a good time as any to watch it, because
Right.
get some closure on some shows that I used to watch. You know what I mean?
It makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. And then after that, I might watch The Amazing World of Gumball, just because that show looks like a lot of fun. I've seen a lot of funny clips of it.
I need to watch that too.
Yeah. And then I had one other idea for a show after that. Doesn't matter. I mean, that's going to be a little bit before I get around to that anyways. I watched like the premiere episode on TV of The Great North. And I watched one of the newer episodes on Hulu of that show, which is like I think it's designed by the same character designer who just passed away, who does the character designs for Bob's Burgers, or it looks like Bob's Burgers in one way or another. I'm not sure what the exact connection may be, but it just looked very similar.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, it's on FX, Fox, some shit like that, but yeah, it's alright. It's a new show. I figure every new show needs at least like a season or 2 to really like get to know itself.
Very true. Sometimes it's hard to get through that period of time to get to the part that you like.
Yeah.
And I feel like every time I'm trying to tell somebody to watch a show, I'm like, just all you have to do is dedicate 7 hours, and then it will start to be good. And people are like,
Can I just skip those first 7 hours?
No.
Because otherwise you won't understand what's happening.
You'll be so confused, dude.
I'm trying to think what else I've watched. I finished... I don't know, I've just been jumping around a lot since I finished Frasier. I watched like a couple episodes of some shows that like I've been keeping up with. I did the last season of The League, because I watched that show a lot in college, and then I never ended up finishing the last season, because I didn't have any way of watching it, so I did that.
Have you been playing anything recently?
You know what? I have not. I mean, I've been playing Satisfactory with you. Let me look for my Steam. I feel like there's one thing I've like touched on. Not particularly. Nothing I played a lot of. I did play Donut County, which I had a lot of fun with.
Yeah, I played that too.
Did you play it when it came on Game Pass or before that?
Your brother had it, and so I played it through his account.
Oh, nice. Team and the share comes through again.
That's right.
Yeah, Donut County, super fun, super cute. I enjoyed it. It's like a short version of Katamari.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was a little more like actual like gameplay, because it's more like a story. You don't really have any. There's not really winning or losing.
Yeah, which I actually enjoyed the lack of fail states. Like I enjoyed the fact that like it was really chill and there wasn't like a time limit or like I couldn't fail or anything like that. I thought the soundtrack was really cool. So it was a very relaxing game to just kind of play for like it only lasts 1 or 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it as a nice, relaxing, fun experience with a cute story. I do feel like that the game is fun enough that they could, if they had wanted to, they could have expanded it into being like a full-fledged game. But I did some research, and it was actually only made by one guy who did like almost the whole thing, except for like certain parts of it.
Right.
But it was kind of like started as an experiment because for a game.
I guess I'm also okay with games that are just chill like that, but for that style of game, it just sounded fun to me to like, I don't know, I guess I wanted some like more Katamari-esque.
Yeah, I kind of was waiting for the moment where like, because like how the game works is they like show you basically like a person's house and yard, and then they're like, swallow it up, and then there's like a sequence of events that you follow. It's like a puzzle. It's a sequence of events that you follow to get everything all swallowed up. And then when you're done, they go back to the story where like you find out why everything got swallowed up. I started writing DrawBomb, which is not far off from the actual name of the show.
No.
But yeah, so you finish the level, you go back to the story, and it's you read some stuff, and then you go to the next level, which is another person's house and yard. And I was kind of waiting for the moment where I was like, the game really opens up, and then you get to swallow up like a whole city, or something like like how Katamari opens up eventually. It never ended up doing that, and like I get that that's not the experience the guys are trying to make, because maybe they had in their head like, well, we don't want to make exactly Katamari.
And they can make whatever they want to make.
Yeah, but I felt like it was the type of game where the gameplay concept was solid enough that they could have easily made it more than it ended up actually being.
Right. I agree.
But I still had a good time. It was still fun and cute. I would still recommend it to people, especially on Game Pass where you don't really have to like buy it. Because it is a $10 game and it lasts 2 hours, which I'm not of the mind where something needs to like be 60 hours long for me to spend $60. Like, there's a lot of people who are just like, let's see, did I get $1 per hour out of this game? No, it's a waste.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that way.
I think that's too much to ask.
Yeah, but I think for like how substantial or unsubstantial the game is, that $10 still might be like asking for a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on the game, but I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't expect an hour per dollar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
Some people do that.
It's a long ass game.
Yeah, I would guess. I usually get sick of games before I get 60 hours in.
All right.
But yeah, I had a good time with it. I enjoyed it. I would buy the soundtrack because I thought the soundtrack was like super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the sound. Oh, I should look that up.
Yeah, I would buy that soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack was interesting because it's very acoustic guitar based, because it's a very like relaxing sort of soundtrack. But at the same time, like you'll be hearing the music, it'll be like an acoustic guitar, and then you will like have like a bass line come in, and that bass line will be fucking like bumping. So like a lot of times I'll be like listening to like this song, and the bass will come in, and I'll be like, ooh, what's that bass doing? And then like the rest of the song is still like in line with the acoustic guitar stuff, and the bass doesn't feel like out of place. But at some points I expected the soundtrack to kind of get like a little more electronica vibey, which again it's not a complaint that it didn't. I just thought it was an interesting choice.
Yeah. And then the art style is pretty good too.
Yeah, it's very cute, very Katamari. Like the art style is like, if anything is most reminiscent of Katamari Damacy, it's the gameplay and then the art style, because it's also that very stiff, like low poly without like fancy lighting or rendering kind of stuff. It's a good look though. I like it, especially for like, I think it fits that game very well. The cute storyline.
I concur.
Yes. Welcome to Video Game Corner of DrawBomb.
One of like 2 corners.
Yeah, we have like a million corners in this show. We like pretty much come up with a new corner every episode, and it's usually one of us ranting about something for 30 minutes.
Yeah, probably don't need all these corners.
No, we used to have a 4-corner room, like a square.
Yeah.
Now this room is just straight up confusing in its layout because I don't know, like we're in the same room but we're on opposite corners, and at this point there's like 900,000 corners between him and I. So I don't know if I'll ever see you again, man. I get lost in here.
Well, at least we have Discord. We can talk to each other that way.
This is true. There's always Discord.
I've been playing, as you know, a lot of Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, so why don't you tell the folks at home about that?
So I've been trying to play it for years, and I kept getting scared and like turning it off. And I finally, they released some more info about the next one, and it looks cool. So I was like, all right, it's time. So I decided to not be scared, and I played it. I mean, I'm still scared, but I'm good now. I'm good. I got over the hump, so to speak.
That's good. And you had a good time with it, right?
Yeah, I loved it. I'm playing the DLC now, which is pretty solid too so far. There's some interesting stuff in there. There's these.
Like I played way back when, but I haven't played the DLC yet. But continue what you're saying.
So there's a free DLC where you play as Chris Redfield, and it's kind of like the epilogue. You find out what happens to one of the characters, like one of the bad guys who didn't get his comeuppance in the main story. So that's interesting. And then that one's good. Then after that, they have these ones that are called like banned footage, and it's just like these little quick one-offs. And there's like, I think 4 of them. One of them is a blackjack game where you basically you're being put up against another character that's been trapped by the family, and it's like the one brother who's a creep who's operating the whole thing, and it's actually just a blackjack game, but like the
oh really?
Yeah, but there's some like ways to make it interesting, and then also like obviously the terms are you get killed like if you lose.
Sure.
So that was pretty cool. There's one that's like an escape room one, kind of reminiscent of some of the things in the game. That was pretty cool. I just did that one today. You play as one of the dudes who were captured by them earlier. Like I think he's like the cameraman, if you remember the beginning.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And you basically have to escape this room. You're like locked to a bed, and you manage to like wiggle free, and then you're looking around the room for all the stuff to get out, and it's like a escape room. You have to solve the puzzle. But in the meantime, every once in a while, you'll make too much noise, and the mom will come up to check on you, and you have to like put everything back and get back into bed, and she'll like look around and make sure nothing's out of place.
That's interesting.
So that was kind of added like a nice like frantic part to it, like where it's like, all right, you have 30 seconds before she gets back, and you're like, okay, I think this was here, this drawer, and like if something's off, she's like, that drawer wasn't open, and then she'll, basically like you have to get it all right. So that was a fun one.
Huh. So I feel like I played one of the DLCs. Like I don't know why. That one kind of.
You probably played
triggered something.
The free one, right? With Chris Redfield.
I'm not sure. I feel like I played one where you were in the one house dealing with like some of the kids' shit. I don't know. I don't know why I think I played that.
There was
I watched like a YouTube video of it. I don't know.
Another one that I played was just like a prologue. It basically shows like the family normal before they get infected, and everything goes to shit. And they're just like a nice group of people, and then they aren't after that.
It was funny too. Brandon knows about this, but this is for the audience. But I was playing. I was watching Frasier as he was playing Resident Evil 7, and he was talking about playing the DLC with the family being normal. And I had just gotten to an episode of Frasier where Frasier is on a road trip with his girlfriend, and then like basically they get stuck in a house that is kind of like the family from Resident Evil 7, minus like the eating people and stuff like that. But there's like a whole, like they have like a bald son who's like really weird and creepy, just like in Resident Evil 7. The dad's dressed up in flannel. He's played by Milton from Office Space. But like there's also like, they have like their grandma's corpse in the one corner of the room that they go to keep hugging and stuff. And then Fraser and his girlfriend are like obviously disturbed by that. I was just kind of like, this is very funny.
They have a corpse in the room?
Yeah, she's in a coffin, but like they're like, yeah, here's grandma over here, and then like they like lift the lid, and that's like Fraser and his girlfriend are like, oh my god.
Got it.
It's funny stuff.
Spooky episode of Frasier.
It's funny too because you'd think it'd be the spooky episode, but then like the one episode, like later on in that episode, like somebody comes in and starts hugging the grandma and crying over her, and you'd think like that'd be the moment where Fraser and his girlfriend are like, oh my god, but they're like laughing because like they're basically trying to pretend they're asleep, but they're like laughing in the bed and stuff. And I was just like, you guys are handling this way better than I ever would.
Old Fraser Crane. What will he get into next?
Some tossed salad, maybe. Scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs, possible.
But yeah, done with that show. It's over. Finished it.
Well, on to the next thing then.
On to the onward and upwards. Just knocking out shows I could watch.
I'm excited to play more of the DLC. I've kind of been like knocking through it. I'll probably be done pretty soon. But...
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good game. I really liked it a lot. I love the super atmospheric. Like they nailed it. Yeah. That part of it. Some design choices that are mean. Actually, most of them. But like, there's just like they do this thing that's like ambient sound that sounds like something hitting the walls around you, and if you have headphones on, it sounds like the walls in your room are like. I kept taking my headphones off to see if somebody was like making noise in the other room because it sounds like that realistic, and like I thought that was impressive while also mean.
Yeah, there's some games that have like ambient sound effects where I keep thinking the sound is like from real life. I don't know which game it was, but I was playing this one game, and so like just to get like my name is Ian. Which if you're shouting my name out, it's mostly vowels that you're shouting, so you're just like, yeah! And you usually don't get the N to carry across large distances. So if I just hear somebody shouting, yeah! Like I kind of have to wonder if like they're shouting my name or if someone's just shouting. So I was playing some game and I kept hearing like, yeah! In the background. So I kept pulling my headphones off, being like, who's there?
Yeah.
Who's it? Am I being called? No?
It was the game calling you.
Yeah, and it was also funny, but there was this. I was working on a beat for those beat battles I do occasionally.
Yeah.
And I hadn't realized. Yeah. But I realized that like well after I had submitted the song to SoundCloud and stuff, that there's like a weird crackle in one of the samples that I ended up using in my song. Okay. Which sounds like the ceiling, like right there where I'm pointing at, is like you know how you sometimes hear like a crack and it's like, oh, that's just the house settling.
Yeah.
Like every time it sounded like something was happening up there, and I was just like, is there something wrong with our roof? And then like I kind of like tested the song like that one specific spot, and I realized it was part of the sample. But I was just like, it was tripping me out for a solid like week because I was working on the song. Kind of going like, man, once I finish this beat, I gotta tell my parents.
I gotta fix my ceiling. Shit going on.
Jesus. Everything's going wrong with this place. The kitchen sink's a mess. Now the ceiling's falling apart. But then again, I'm no stranger to fucking having issues with your ceiling.
You've experienced that in your life.
Yeah.
Multiple times, which is the unfortunate thing. Like the last house I was in when we first started doing the official version of this show was one such case, but then there was another house I lived in a few years before that where also issues with the ceiling, mostly with a creature living in it and burrowing through the ceiling. I've had that as well at one really particular shitty place I lived.
It sucks, right? It sucks to have
It
like
sucks.
things living in the ceiling. Yeah.
It also didn't help that our landlords were not interested in getting them out, so...
That's how the problem got as bad as it did. Like, at some point, I was just like, okay, I can actually see the claw marks reaching through the ceiling. Like, I can see up into the space where this thing is crawling around. Like, I'm gonna tell the landlord this again, and they better get this shit fixed.
What was the beast?
It was a squirrel.
Ah.
I found that out because at some, like, so I called the landlord. Landlord's like, I'll be by on Wednesday. And then I wake up Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the morning to like, I'm sleeping. Here's my head. Here's the window. And I'm asleep. And then a ladder just clunks against my window. And that's what wakes me up as the guy starts like fucking patching up the hole in the ceiling. And then later on that day, I hear something scratching at my window. I open my shades and there's a fucking squirrel. And then it just like jumps off and like sprints off into the horizon. And I
trying to
never
get
heard the
back
sound.
in.
Yeah, it was. I felt bad because I was just like, I get it, squirrel. Like that was your place.
Maybe it was trying to say goodbye to you.
Maybe.
Like
I
we
did
had
say
some good
goodbye.
times.
Yeah, we did. Living in your house for 3 years. That's where all my nuts are. It was a good place. Thanks
I'll
a
be
lot,
back.
chum.
You think I won't be back? You're kidding yourself.
You think that roofer didn't do the bare minimum?
Exactly.
So yeah, things living in ceilings. I've been spending for like, I'm about to spend like an hour on these fucking.
Yeah,
letters.
you've been at it for a while.
What is the deal? Like, I told myself like,
a
I'll just do
one
it
drawing
real quick.
episode.
Yeah.
That's alright though. I like some of those. We make some good stuff.
We do, and I, not to be like a supreme capitalist or anything like that, but it's a fan art sort of thing where we're doing like a reference, an homage, if you will. Those usually sell better on the internet, anyways. So maybe somebody will.
Have you been selling this stuff? All this time?
Just been peddling these DrawBomb wares. You know what I mean? That's capitalism, baby.
It's true.
Anyways, have you played the new Doom's DLCs?
I haven't. I actually uninstalled Doom after I beat it. But maybe I'll reinstall it to play it.
Me too. I was thinking like, once I feel comfortable with my money situation, I can buy that DLC.
I think it's
See,
probably. Is it included on Games Pass?
Games Pass? I would be surprised if it was, because I feel like Games Pass is usually like, here's the base game. If you want that DLC, you gotta spend some money. Kind of like with Forza.
Yeah. Yeah,
because Forza's a Microsoft game. Oh, they just added a new game since I last looked.
What is it?
At Games Pass. It's called Cyber Shadow. I think it's a 2D platformer. It is. It's kind of like Shinobi.
Okay. Well, what do you know?
Looks fun.
What do you know?
I'm gonna play. I don't know. I don't know anything about Cyber Shadow.
You should play Control. That's on there now.
I have it installed. I also have Yakuza 2 installed, and I'm actually like, that is the game I've been meaning to really get some progress in, because I played a lot of the first Yakuza, but yes. I really played it when I wanted to avoid any news about the election. So I like beat that game in like 5 days when the election was like still being counted and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like I could really crank that game out.
I wasn't sure if it had any kind of anxious PTSD like attached to it for you when you think about it.
Well, I mean, the election turned out fine, so
that's true.
For the most part, fine. I mean, it wasn't like, it could have been better, but
right.
It could have been worse.
That's true.
It
could have been worse.
Could have been worse. And then I'm gonna play Control, which is a game I've been interested in trying out for some time. And then, gosh, the world is my oyster. I've been playing Far Cry Primal too. That's also something.
Oh yeah, I did see that you were playing that. I forgot.
Yeah, that's fun.
Nice.
I mean, it's not the best Far Cry, but it's also not the worst Far Cry. It's interesting. It's like a Far Cry spin-off, and that's exactly what it feels like.
What is the worst Far Cry?
Good question. I mean, it's hard to rank them because I think Far Cry 3 is the best one, because it's just the complete package. Like, it works, gameplay, story, all presentation. It all works really well. Far Cry 4 had a really underwhelming story, and then Far Cry 5 was, I would say, even more underwhelming in pretty much every aspect.
Yeah.
Maybe 5, but I don't like 2 that much. I'm not a fan of 2.
Yeah, I don't think 5 is the worst. I just think they kind of were doing something they've already done just over and over.
Yeah, like,
and not making it, like, not doing anything to make it fresh.
Yeah. In terms of gameplay, there's like no daylight between Far Cry 3 and like they didn't change anything about, like, the only thing they changed is that they got rid of the towers that you climb in 3 and 4. And they make a joke about that in like the first mission. The guy's like, I'm not gonna have you go around climbing towers. And it's just like, great. But everything else is literally the exact same. So cool, you took something away from the game.
Here's a list of new features in this game. It's just things removed.
Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting. Far Cry Primal is interesting. It's, I don't know, it's fun. It's like an even more bare bones Far Cry with the interesting thing about Far Cry Primal, and I was curious, so I googled it. So like in Far Cry Primal, it takes place like 1,000 years BC or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you're like the first people to settle. I looked it up, and apparently like it takes place like a mountain range in Italy is like one of the things that you can like see on the horizon. So like the game most likely takes place in like Central Europe, around Italy, things like that. But 1,000 BC or whenever the game takes place, and the story is like you're like people, you're Homo erectus, and your tribe of people is all murdered by like mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, and then like you make it through a cave, you meet another Homo erectus woman, and you and her are just like, yo, let's fucking make Homo erectus good. So you like start rebuilding a village of people.
You start Homo erecting a village.
You start Homo erecting buildings and villages and like propping your fellow people up. And then like the whole time there's like a tribal war that's going on between you and, I believe, whichever one comes before Homo erectus. Or I guess we're Homo erectus came before Homo sapien. So you're Homo sapiens, then you're fighting a tribe of like whatever, like they just have differently shaped heads.
Yeah, it was the Neanderthals was the enemy, usually, at least for a while anyways. I don't know if that's what's in the game, but they're like more ape-like people than they are.
Yeah.
We lean a little bit further to the people side. They lean a little bit further to the ape side.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google it real quick because just like the people who you fight, because like I don't want to like say like you're fighting Homo erectus. Like they just have weird, differently shaped heads, and they like when you see pictures like museum recreations of Neanderthals and like the first man and things like that, like these dudes look like it, and like they're covered in like like stuff. And then you also fight like a group of people who are obsessed with fire who are also Homo sapiens, but it's other stuff. But hold on, I just got it real quick.
Neanderthal and Homo sapien lived at the same time, and they say we killed them off.
That makes sense.
Sounds like something we do.
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of like what you're doing in the game is like, yeah, okay, so they're Neanderthal-like. It's a Neanderthal-like tribe. You're Wenja, so you're Homo erectus. It takes place 10,000 BC. And like, to be fair, in the game, I'm not sure how it works in 10,000 BC. In the game, you're just trying to like survive, and then like these asshole Neanderthals are just like, we're gonna kill you, and then you gotta like protect your folks. But you also find another group of people who are, they don't look any different than Homo sapiens, and they're like fire people, and they're also trying to kill you.
Why is everybody so rude?
I don't know, man. And like, It's funny because you start the game. I started this with some point in mind, but I don't remember anymore. Oh no, now I remember. I looked it up, and like your characters speak a language in the game to each other, and I was just kind of like, is this like a fucking real language, or is this Latin? Did they base this shit off of something? And I looked it up, and like they paid like linguists to like construct a fake language that was possible that they would have spoken back in 10,000 BC based on like stuff. I don't know the criteria, but like it's basically a fake language in the game that the characters speak to each other and stuff like that.
Right.
So reading that, I was kind of like, oh cool, I can play my podcast and stuff while I play this game because I don't have to pay attention to what they're actually saying. And it's, you know, like I appreciate the work those guys did. Like, sure, if I really wanted to, I could sit down and I could recognize what word means bathroom or what word means whatever the fuck in that fake language. But it strikes me as like learning Klingon, you know, where it's just like, you guys really put a lot of work into some, like, you did this for fun than anybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I kind of get, you see that happening a lot in like movies and video games and TV and stuff these days, and it's pretty cool. I'm not sure if it's necessary, but I'm sure maybe it probably like sounds more real if you put that kind of work into it.
You know, it's better than like there's like a lot of like, was it Golden Compass or was it something else? I don't know. There was like something where like this is the language they speak in the future, and they're like, true, you speak true.
That was the Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, which one is that one?
Cloud Atlas.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, okay, guys, this sounds dumb as shit. Like, it's at least if you had hired a bunch of linguists to construct a fake language, it doesn't sound as dumb.
Yeah.
As a bunch of people going like, oh.
You the real true.
Yeah, but also it's just kind of like, damn, I'm sorry that you guys put so much work into this bullshit. But I don't know. I blame Tolkien because Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings. Like, he wrote a bunch of fake languages because that's the shit he liked to do, and then he wrote Lord of the Rings to have an excuse to use those fake languages. So, you know, at the end of the day,
feels like they have to do it too.
Yeah, blame Tolkien, blame Canada. But also, Klingon, real language.
In what capacity? Like,
well,
I guess what makes a language real? Is it just that it exists? Like, I mean, no one uses it like as their.
Oh yeah,
primary.
I don't know.
But I mean, I guess I get what you're saying. It's fully fleshed out. It's got.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean when I say real language, but it's not like a real language. But it's funny because I was reading something about Klingon, I think. So like, there's a character in Frasier who. He speaks Klingon. He actually speaks Spanish, Klingon, Hebrew, and English. His character, and in a couple episodes, he says things in Klingon. In the one episode of Frasier's trying to read something to his son at his bar mitzvah, and because Frasier couldn't quite complete his end of the bargain with the guy translates it into Klingon instead of Hebrew. But I remember looking up something about Klingon, I think as a result of Frasier, and they were like, yeah, so Klingon, you can technically, like, people have translated Shakespeare into Klingon, people have translated this or that into Klingon, but also Klingon's like a really hard language to speak because a lot of the language of Klingon is related to like the Star Bridge or warp speed or things that have to do with science fiction because it's
right.
Our Star Trek language.
Like the Eskimos have 1,000 words for snow.
Yeah, and they have like 18 different words for fucking warp speed or some shit like that. Which I also found out about the Inuit language, like having like all those different words for snow. You know, it's not all the same. Like they're not all just saying like snow.
Right.
It's like different qualities to the snow and like good snow. But like all the Inuit language in regards to snow, like people are often like, you know, this is 40 different words for snow, but it goes so much deeper than that, which is
I don't believe that they actually have 1,000 words for snow. I just think that's a phrase that is always used.
Yeah, it's bandied about by people just to kind of prove points or something.
There are 0 words for war.
That's right.
Something like that, I don't know.
If you think about it, it's so meaningful. And it's like, no, it's not. You just...
Shut up.
Yeah, shut up.
Who asked you?
Who even brought this guy in here? Somebody kicked this guy out of the
This
park.
guy sucks.
This guy is speaking bullshit. But you know what's not bullshit is that fake language they made in Far Cry Primal.
No, yeah, that's real.
That's gotta be like the sweetest gig though, to be like, cause like there's like
If that's your thing.
Conquer. Yeah, cause like Command and Conquer 3 or some shit like that. Like I remember reading in PC Gamer or something like that. But like we hired a group of scientists to come up with an actual scientific like reason how the resource you're trying to mine in this game could do these things that it does in the game. And it's like,
why?
Right, what? Well, that sounds like a waste of money, but also like, because like I'm not gonna look into it. Like I'm not gonna fucking Google and see like, oh yes, but actually technically carbon is a covalent bond. So, but
it's like world building stuff.
Yeah.
But still, some of it just seems unnecessary. Some of it doesn't. I don't feel like benefits the world by existing.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're a scientist, that's gotta be a sweet gig. Like some dude's just like, yeah, we'll pay you like a bunch of money to come up with some fake science, and you're just like, shit, yeah, like sure, I went to school for 16 years, but this is where it all pays off, Fred.
Yeah. His name would be Fred.
Yeah. Fred Scientist.
You know, with the surname like Scientist, he didn't really have a lot of options.
Yeah, it was either a map maker or a scientist. Fred Scientist. Gosh, seems like only yesterday he was passing his bar exam to be a lawyer.
They grow up so fast.
He grew up so fast.
We used to call him Freddy Scientist, but now he's a man.
That's right. Got married, changed his, or hyphenated his name. So now he's this is one of the situations where I start saying the joke before I come up with the joke. Now he, Fred Scientist Baker. I don't know. Let's move on. Let's talk about something else, please.
How's that DrawBomb coming along back there?
Oh god, I've never had more fun in my life.
It looks good.
Thank you. At some point I was just like, why don't I just do like the straight line tool and like make my life easier?
Right. I'm surprised you hadn't sooner, but I'm glad you eventually got there.
I don't have an answer for that question either. I don't know why I didn't use the straight line tool, but I feel like after a certain point, it's like you can't really go back.
You can't.
It's just,
You can't have your time back. Already spent.
That's right. And I'd like to impress that upon all of our viewers here at DrawBomb, all one of you, which might be me.
Use your time for something wisely, like watching DrawBomb.
That's right. Or watching 11 seasons of Frasier.
There you go, another good use of time.
Oh yeah, God. How many... So let me do the math here.
How many hours of Kelsey Grammer have you watched?
I'm about to do the math right now. There's 24 episodes per season. Times 11. There's about 20 episodes. No episode goes over 20 minutes long, but let's just say...
Are you a skipping intro type of guy?
No.
Okay, so
Also,
you should find out how many times you've heard how much time you've listened to the Scrambled Egg theme song.
Oh god, that's so... I'm gonna get to that, but it says here, I watched 5,808 minutes of Frasier, which divide that by 60. I spent 96 hours watching Frasier.
It's a good amount.
It's a lot of time. I mean, to be fair, usually when I watch a TV show, I'm drawing, practicing drawing or something on the side. So it's not like I sat there and was just like...
You're doing other stuff.
I play a lot of solitaire too. But, So the tossed salads and scrambled eggs theme song that always appears at the end of every episode, and it's 30 seconds long, and it's usually accompanied by a visual gag.
If it's 30 seconds long, just do that times the amount of episodes.
So 7,920 seconds of tossed salads and scrambled eggs. So that's 132 minutes of tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
So about an hour and a half.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's not including all the times where I was like working on a drawing and I was just like, oh, I missed the visual joke that they're doing in this credits, and then I would go and I'd watch it again.
When did you start watching this?
In January.
So, in order to make yourself feel even crazier, in the last 30 days, you've listened to that theme song for an hour and a half.
Oh god. That's not including all the times I sang it because it was in my head.
Imagine just sitting there and listening to it back to back for an hour and a half.
You know, and I was wondering, like, when I first started watching the show, I was just like, I wonder if this is one of those theme songs where I'll just forget all the words by the time I'm done with the show, and then someone will be like, tossed salads and scrambled eggs, am I right? And I'd be like, yeah. No, I remember that. I mean, it's like...
It's so fresh.
It's so fresh in my head, but also it's not a very complicated song. So
no.
By the end of like season 3, I was just like, oh baby, I can hear the blues are calling, tossed salads and scrambled eggs. Well, I may seem a bit confused, but baby, I've got you pegged. I simply don't know what to do about those. What was that?
So yeah, it's an easy one to remember. It's not that long.
Yeah, it's not hard. And they say tossed salads and scrambled eggs twice of 3 lines of it. So.
Like, geez, spread out the real estate a little bit. Am I right?
God, guys, I know it took you forever to come up with that metaphor, but don't want to overuse something good.
Exactly.
I like Cholula, but you don't see me dousing it on all my tacos. That's actually not true. I douse my tacos with Cholula.
So I want tacos.
I could use a taco right now. That sounds like really good.
Why would you go ahead and say tacos to me? How dare you?
I don't know. Now I'm kind of craving Cholula. Something with Cholula on it. This episode of DrawBomb brought to you by Cholula.
When you want hot, you want Cholula.
Why don't you Cholula out, bro?
But chill, I would say, is the opposite of hot sauce.
This is true. But it also has ch and the l sound in it, so...
I feel like these demons, I guess it's the ones that shoot the fireballs, but they don't really look like they do in the game.
No, the demons on the cover of Doom look nothing like the demon. I mean, they look like the Barons of Hell and the,
Yeah, but they're supposed to be, I think, the, what are the brown ones?
The imps?
Is that what they're called? The ones that shoot fireballs?
Yeah, and they sound like camels when you kill them.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be imps, but I'm not certain.
They got, you know what's weird is if you look on the cover, there's a gun in the bottom next to the id logo, and there's also one of the Barons of Hell has a mechanical like Mega Man arm gun, which none of the enemies in the game have that. But
there's some weird mechanic like qualities. Robot legs and bodies and such.
Yeah, the Arachnotrons have that.
Isn't there a big like goat-looking thing with like robot legs too?
I guess the Cyber Demon. Yeah, the Cyber Demon. But that thing's like huge, like way bigger than they would appear on the cover. And then I'm looking at somebody apparently remade the Doom cover with the enemies from Doom 2016. It looks like.
Well, I'd like to see that.
It's it looks alright. I'll send it to you. I'm not gonna post it on the DrawBomb because I don't know where it originally came from, and I don't like to post uncredited.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's a good way to handle that situation.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I never did post in the DrawBomb thing in a way that, because I figured it out on the DrawBomb Discord. You can have it push out notification. Like, people can follow an announcement channel, and then those announcements will get posted to whichever channel they specify on their own Discord servers. So we have like a couple people who have our channels followed, but I forgot to push. You have to like publish the news post in order for that to.
Yeah, I need to get better about using our Discord more.
Me too. I'm not great at it yet. But you know, we're a fledgling community. We haven't been doing this show very long. We've only got 57 episodes under our belt. It's not like we're just starting out, folks.
Just 57.
Just 57. Having nobody in the audience is a far cry from last week. We had like 10 people in the audience.
I know. We lost
those
it.
many minutes. Yeah.
The
gotta figure out
hats bump.
One thing we could do is that when we finish this episode, we could raid somebody else's channel.
Yeah.
I did see Matt do that in his one stream, and I was just like, that's a clever idea.
Is that where you send your people over?
Yeah, basically.
But we don't have people.
True. I guess we should do it.
Gotta get people.
I guess we should do people first. I got no follow-up then.
Yeah. Well, work in progress.
Yeah, come on, folks. Bear with us here. What was up?
So you and I did an art trade, did we not?
Oh, we did. We were talking about that slightly earlier when we were talking about the post office, but we did do an art trade.
Yes. So we haven't yet opened those. I'm still waiting on yours. Yeah, I'm excited for you to see what I sent you.
I'm excited for you to see what I sent you. Now, just to give you a heads up, I told you I was gonna white out something to fix it up. I did not end up doing that.
Oh, it's all good.
So actually, I'm kind of curious if you'll notice the part that I kind of messed up.
I probably wouldn't have if you wouldn't have brought it up.
Well, I won't bring it up when it comes time to open the packages, and we'll see what happens.
Nice. Yeah, I'm happy with how mine came out.
I'm pretty happy with how mine came out too.
Excited to see what you made.
I had no idea what I was gonna do for the longest time, and then I went looking. Like, we had talked about it when we were playing Gears of War. Like, you said like this was kind of like what I was doing, and I'm say what I was. I mean, what you were doing at the time for your drawing, and then I lost that post. So I was like, fuck, what am I gonna draw? And then I was like, well, I actually just got a great idea just now. So.
Oh, mine was DrawBomb related.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, mine's not, but it's.
That's fine.
I think you'll still find it very enjoyable.
Oh, I'm sure I will. Yeah, no, mine's DrawBomb related, so look forward to that.
I should have taken a photo of mine actually before I sent it.
I can send you a photo of it when I get it.
See, how long I've been working on the Doom logo?
Long
For
enough.
a whole hour and 20 minutes. Oh yeah.
And how do you feel? It looks really
Honestly,
good.
thank you. I'm glad you like it. It's just I'm no further enriched. My life is not better for it.
That's a shame.
Yeah. What even is the point? Why do we go on? Why are we here? Just to suffer?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
It depends on who's running the simulation.
True. I mean, if it's me running the simulation, then the answer is yes.
There's some weird shit going on. I've seen how you play The Sims.
Yeah, it's not great. People
The
will
more
watch me
you-
play the Sims.
You should do The Sims on your stream. Or on
I
the
should.
stream. I will say, the more I see of what you do in The Sims, the more I believe in the simulation theory. Well, that explains a lot.
Yep. It's so I feel like I was talking about my playing The Sims 4 in a previous episode, and I was talking about my What was that?
You talk about it a little bit here and there.
Yeah, last episode I talked about it. I was talking about a eugenics experiment I was running, which I feel like you can't, like, what I did was I was like, I'm running a eugenics experiment in The Sims, and then I just dropped it. But I feel like I can't do that. Like, I feel like I should have
probably explain. But I mean,
so,
it's
like,
The Sims, so you can do
it is
stuff and not feel guilty.
There's worse places to do eugenics experiments than in The Sims.
Almost every place besides The Sims is worse.
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like I should explain it. So just for people who are maybe a little concerned, when I say eugenics experiment, it's not quite that actually. But so for anyone who plays The Sims, who is watching this many years in the future at my trial, in The Sims, people like to do things called ugly to beauty challenges, which is where they like put on like settings in the game so you can stretch the faces out more than you're supposed to be able to, and they just make like the most distorted, just fucked up looking face they can possibly make. And then, you know, in The Sims, since your Sims can have kids and like those kids can grow up and have kids, you know, you sort of use the genetics programmed into the game to take that Sim from their distorted face person, and then you commingle them with some normies, and then eventually, like a couple generations down the line, you have some relatively normal looking Sim babies. So I downloaded somebody's off the internet, and like what I like to do is, when we talked about this before, is I like to turn on The Sims, I like to leave in the background while I do other shit, and then like I'll check in occasionally and be like, what have the neighbors been up to? Oh, Dharma and Greg are having an affair again. So and so are doing this. So and so are doing
Dharma
that.
and Greg in your Sims world?
No, but I did download Frasier.
That's good. That's good.
The person did a really good job doing Frasier, which is very funny to me. But yeah, so I'll check back in, and like a lot of Sims I brought Scooby and the gang in the one time, and then when I checked in later, like Shaggy had moved out and married some guy, but he left Scooby with Daphne and Velma, and then Fred had died from like electrocution or some shit like that. Which is just fun to see that happen without you playing any role in any of it. So yeah, and you have to do that with mods, unfortunately, because the game could have the people doing that stuff all on its own, because they would in The Sims 3, but they changed the way that the game works a little bit in The Sims 4, so now you have to like download a mod to make the Sims actually live their lives when you're not playing as them.
It's pretty weird thing to take out. Seems like kind of the main point of the game, but who am I?
Yeah, I both get it and I don't. So like, I think they did it for like memory reasons. Like in The Sims 3, it's like an open world, so like the whole neighborhood is available for you to just like run around, and like the Sims are all running around and stuff, and it can be a lot for your computer to handle if you have like enough people running around all at once.
Right.
Where in The Sims 4, what they did was they have like blocks, and like each block is like a big play area, but if you want to like load up somebody else's house, you gotta go through a quick loading screen. But yeah, basically like these neighborhoods are divided into blocks, and these blocks are the playable areas, and then, you know, Sims will live their lives outside in their homes and the blocks and all that stuff.
Got it.
It makes sense because it's a lot less memory intensive, but it also takes away functionality, like and yeah, I have nothing else to add. I did some ugly to beauty stuff. I took a clown manatee lady, and I made her have some clown children.
You turned her into a star.
I did. Well, actually, she electrocuted herself to death.
Oh,
But no, actually, I tried to electrocute her to death because
that's the way all Sims die.
Yeah, it's electrocution. You know what? It's funny because before, the best way to kill a Sim was to put them in a pool without a ladder.
Yeah, I do recall
and they
that.
fixed that. Sims will just get the fuck out of the pool now because like they're smarter than that. But like, I saw this one YouTuber, Call Me Kevin. He was playing The Sims 4 the one time, and he's really great at finding exploits in the game. Like he didn't find the sex cult thing. I did the sex cult. but I'm not so proud of that. But
you sound a little proud of it.
I'm a little proud of it, just a little. But it's like pride mixed with shame.
Right.
Like when you eat a whole pizza, but you also like you ate a whole pizza.
Yeah.
Like Kevin's like found some crazy stuff. Like he figured out that if you start a painting club and then you bring everybody to have a club gathering in a room where there's just like a shit ton of easels, like everyone will paint paintings and then you can sell their stuff for like their own Sims game. And he also found like in Sims seasons they put it so that you can have like there's like a calendar and there's like holidays and you can like make your own holidays that have like these special like things that Sims will try and do before the holiday's over as like traditions and things like that. So like in the Sims they made it like they have all the things you can do for Festivus to make Festivus if you wanted to, and some other stuff. But like what Kevin did was he found out that you can make a holiday during the winter months where your Sim both does streaking as well as goes swimming. So when he ran the holiday in his YouTube video, like Sims would get naked and then they would go swimming in the pool and then they would freeze to death because it's also wintertime. So he just figured out a way to like kill off like most neighborhoods without him having to like do anything.
It's a holiday, just ritualistic suicide by pool.
Yeah, and he called it like Death Day or something like that. Which
Wow.
I thought was funny.
Got Captain Sheepy in the chat. Yo, thanks for joining in.
We got a Komodo mixed with a corgi. So we've got Komorgi.
Also known as a hairless cat.
Oh yeah, I guess that's accurate. I would say that is a good math problem that holds up to scrutiny.
Yeah, it checks out.
It checks out. I did it on my calculator.
It's really hard to punch in a corgi, but you know.
Where's the cat button on my calculator?
Many hats, Matt in the chat.
Whoa!
Many hats, Matt in the chat. Repeat.
Many hats in the chat, Matt.
Says, looking good. Then he said, yo. You know, you can imagine what it sounds like. And if you can't imagine what it sounds like, go watch last week's episode.
Yeah.
Where he was here in the flesh.
In the hats.
That's right. He brought his hats. It was a great time.
We also did a rock, paper, pencil, which we've done a thing now where I've uploaded that rock, paper, pencil into the Discord, which you can vote on, everybody.
We have quite a few that haven't been posted to Twitter yet. Or we have the backlog that you could also potentially post there if you wanted to.
I have to think about how I want it structured.
How you doing, Matt? How you doing, Captain Sheepy?
Yeah, let us know how you're doing. Lips in the chat if you want.
Drop some lips in the chat.
Try and get some lips in the chat going. That's a joke I won't let die.
I'm glad. Captain Sheepy says they're doing well. That's great to hear.
Glad to hear it. I gotta ask you, Brandon.
Go ahead.
How has it felt to go a couple of days without hearing a certain somebody's name in the news? At least like a day or two.
I feel like I could come up with a joke for that, but honestly, it actually feels great. I haven't opened Twitter in like days.
Yeah, I haven't opened Twitter since like October, just because. Like,
that's smart. But I'm just saying, like, the fact that I don't have to stress every minute of existing as much has really taken some weight off my shoulders.
Yeah, I feel like I have like residual anxiety and stress that like my body has like stored up anxiety and stress, and then like it doesn't have a place to completely use all of it lately, so my body's just like sometimes I'll just sit there and I'll why am I energetic yet unable to do things?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I feel that way as well. I will say, kind of unrelated, but also somewhat related. Lately, like this past, I don't know, 6 months or so, I've been feeling. I have like kind of feel anxious out of nowhere. Like even when I'm like not, I wouldn't be able to identify the fact that I'm anxious. You know, like I feel good, and then all of a sudden I get feeling anxious, and I kept telling myself like, you know, it makes sense with everything going on. But
Right.
then I also realized, for a good portion of this year, I've been drinking like iced tea out of a big jug, and that has caffeine. So I've probably just been drinking like a gallon of caffeine, making myself crazy.
I think that is a fair assumption.
Yeah. So crack the code on that one.
Yeah. And have you stopped drinking as much iced tea now?
I've started to put that into effect now. Yes.
Only recently though, like
Yeah, like a day or two ago where I kind of came to that conclusion.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So
But, you know.
we'll tune in next week to see how your anxiety.
Yeah.
You're watching Anxiety Watch with DrawBomb.
No, I'm feeling good. I feel great. I feel alive.
Feel alive again. That's good. I always have anxiety, so I can't do anything about that. But you know, I got nothing to add.
All right. Cool.
Moving on. DrawBomb, brought to you by Anxiety.
Kind of.
Yeah. What else are we gonna do with our time?
Right. I like how this is coming along. It's growling. And boy, those words in the back, fantastic work. Really.
Oh my fucking god, if I never
all
have to write
happening.
words again, it'll be too soon.
It'd be hard to function in society with if you couldn't write words anymore.
I know, right? Wouldn't that be crazy?
It would be.
I was playing D&D with some folks on Sunday, and somebody
Me
was
too.
talking about eating kobolds.
Kobolds.
Yeah, they're like lizard people.
Oh.
Little tiny lizard dudes, like kind of like lizard goblins, but there's like other variants of kobolds and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
we were talking about, is it ethical to eat kobolds or not? And like in D&D, kobolds have like societies, they have hierarchies, they have like a language that they speak with each other.
Right.
So we were like, it's probably unethical to eat and kill kobolds. And then our DM was just like, if it can read, you probably shouldn't kill or eat it. And we were like, that's
Yeah.
fair.
That's
And then Sorry, go ahead.
I think that's a good baseline, but there's also certain things that can't read that you probably still shouldn't eat and kill.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like elephants
Children.
can probably read. Elephants can paint. But
Children.
in fact, I'd go as far as to say that most things that you just shouldn't kill and eat. But yeah, so like, yeah, like I was like, well, technically that means you can kill and eat Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So our DM did upgrade the definition to if it possesses the ability to eventually learn to read and write, or just to read.
Right.
You probably shouldn't kill and eat it.
I think that's a good rule, yeah.
Yeah. In general, though, I'm pretty against murder and eating.
Yeah.
I know I'm really coming out with a hot take here by saying that, but
I mean, you like meat.
I do like meat. Yeah, I haven't quite come to grips with that cognitive dissonance yet, but I don't know, it's just so damn good. Like every time I eat clam chowder, I like pick up like a whole spoonful with like an entire shrimp on it, and I'm just like, oh, a little shrimpy, delicious. But also I feel bad.
You know, at least his energy has been transferred into you, and then you are using it for good, like playing The Sims.
That's right. We're watching 96 hours of Frasier. Like,
that's a shrimp. Many shrimp had to die just so that you could watch all that
96
Frasier.
Yeah. It's the circle of life. We eat each other.
So for that scene in Lion King, you know, the opener, do they have like a reverse purge type of like treaty agreement for ceremonies of that nature? Because the animals, yeah, because there's a lot of animals there that normally just eat each other all the time, kill each other. But they had like a ceasefire. Maybe it's like that story at World War II. It's like that's a good example. I was gonna say the story of World War II where like it's Christmas and like both sides sang carols together, which is probably not even a true story, but
I doubt it's true. Yeah, I feel like that's what.
Boy, it's a great tale.
Yeah.
That makes war seem a little less awful for a second.
Yeah.
No, actually, it makes it sound worse if you think about it. Because you have to go back to killing each other tomorrow.
They got along because they understood each other as humans, but their countries did demand that they be thrown into the meat grinder, so they did kill each other the next day.
Yeah.
I like to, you know what, honestly, I should talk to somebody who does video editing, like Tyler or somebody like that, who they can edit the beginning. They can like splice together the beginning of the Warriors with the Lion King, because I'd like to see like Rafiki hold Simba up over the cliff, and then like they like photo manipulate Cyrus it from the Warrior's head onto the like Simba's as he's like, "Can you count, suckers?"
They should make a Lion King sequel that's what it's about. They all go to a new lion is born. They all get there, and then someone like snipes Mufasa, and then suddenly all the animals have to get back home.
Yeah, and then like it has like that synth sound, like the beep 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 beep. You know how the soundtrack in the Warriors goes is very iconic.
I really love the Warriors. It's a good movie.
It's a great movie. The video game, I don't know if you've ever played the video game.
I have. It's a great video game.
It's a fucking great video game. It's like no one talks about how good by Rockstar, no less, but nobody talks about how good. Like I actually played the video game before I saw the movie.
Me too.
Oh, nice. I feel like the video game is why I know the movie exists at all, honestly, which is kind of weird to think about.
It was definitely my like introduction to it.
Yeah, but like great video game. It's actually apparently for PS4 they actually released it like a slightly updated version for the PlayStation.
You're telling me that now.
Yeah, but they also don't have all the music from the game in the game because of that licensing stuff we were talking about.
How bizarre! I wouldn't have even known about that in being a problem unless you brought it up. Told me about it. It's really weird to me. It makes sense. It doesn't make sense, but I understand it now at least.
It makes sense as a remastered, updated version of the game if you're gonna like sell it again, like since you're kind of like
I guess so.
Almost a new product at that point, but it still strikes me as like annoying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
That is a great game though, because like only in the Warriors video game, it's like a 3D behind the back beat 'em up. Actually, its gameplay is not exactly the same, but very similar to God Hand, which I've also espoused the virtues of to you on many occasions.
Yes, you're a fan.
I'm a big fan of God Hand, but in the Warriors video game, you beat people up and then like you run around and you beat more people up, and sometimes you smash some glass and steal jewelry. But in the Warriors video game, a lot of times you'll like beat up a dude and they'll run out of health and they'll be on the ground. And then they'll start like crawling around, going like, and
as
then
one does.
You could like, what was that?
I said as one does.
As one does after you've had the shit beaten out of you, and then you can actually like stomp on them, because like you can stomp people to obviously knock their health bar further down. But these dudes who are going like, you can stomp on them, and then they'll throw up and then pass out in the pile of throw up that they just threw up, which I think is like a particularly brutal.
That's why it's such a good game, right?
That's why it's the
sole
reason why it's a good game.
Other than that, it's a terrible game, but that feature, let's put it in my top 10 games of all time.
That's right.
They had not online. It had a multiplayer mode, like a split screen versus type thing that I really, really loved. Played a lot of it. We were all on a rooftop, and the goal is just it's like King of the Hill, but you're on like the top of a building. And me and my brother had many hours of fun doing that. It's just something comical about when you lose, you get tossed to your death off a building.
Yeah. Which that's like a section from an earlier portion of the game too, like, because in the Warriors game, like, there's like a solid 20 hours of gameplay that's like leading up to the events of the movie, and then the last 6 hours or so of the game are you're playing through the events of the movie, essentially just like an extended version of them. And you know, so like when they're doing the lead up to the movie, they go through like all of the characters from the Warriors and why they're in the Warriors and like their first days in the Warriors and et cetera, et cetera. So I think
that Warriors like backstory.
Yeah, you gotta have some backstory to those Warriors.
Why did you become a warrior?
Because these mean streets of New York City.
Why is Ajax such a dick?
Yeah, he's a real homophobe in that game.
He's not great in the movie either.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a raging homophobe in both, if we're gonna be, and a rapist, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
Yeah, that's why he gets arrested.
Yeah, because the Warriors, that's where they draw the line. Well, the Warriors,
yeah,
they're, you know, as far as gangs go, they seem to be a little bit on the more nice side of things.
Yeah, like that is a weird thing about the Warriors is like they're presented as the good gang, as good as a gang can be, but I mean they kind of play it up in the movie like it's not entirely their fault. That like there's like scenes where they sort of intimate that, like, you know, obviously they would pick a better life if it was available to them and things like that. But yeah, like they're presented as like the good guys gang, but they still hang out with Ajax, who is a
real
rapist, homophobe. To be fair though, I mean I hate to be like a to be fair for like a rapist or homophobe.
Yeah, you have to choose your words wisely.
Yeah. So he is a homophobe.
Or he will be
to
canceled
the other
immediately.
Members of the gang. He doesn't try and do the sexual assaulting until like they're gone, but also like patterns of behavior. He probably did try and do some sexual assault while they were around, but he's also a raging homophobe, like to them and around them.
Well,
they don't come off smelling like roses.
They're the reason he gets arrested though. They don't they. Oh well, no, I guess they.
Yeah, they kind of like Ajax is kind of like, I'm gonna go hit on this lady on a bench, and then they're like, no, we're literally being chased by people who are trying to kill us, and he's just like, you guys go, I'm gonna try and talk to this lady on a bench.
Yeah,
and then they're like, whatever, man, and then they come back and he's being arrested because he tried to sexual assault her.
And she was a cop too.
She was an undercover cop. And then, like, he gets hit in the stomach with a nightstick by, like, a cop with, like, the biggest... He looks like Popeye. Like, the cop who gives Ajax the old stick time. He looks like Popeye, the cop. Popeye.
Popeye, the officer man.
Popeye, the officer man.
What does he eat? Well, donuts, right? Like, that's...
Yeah, I guess donuts. I was gonna say beans.
I wanted to think of something more clever, but... We're doing a cartoon police officer who gets powerful when he eats something. It's gonna be donuts, right?
Yeah, donuts. I feel like that's like the only joke that really fits here.
All right, fine. It's donuts then. It's donuts.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't make the rules of pop culture. If I did, there'd be a lot different with pop culture right now.
Are there rules to pop culture?
I don't know.
The only rule, there are no rules.
I guess vampires. Well, I guess pop culture rules are pop culture rules until you break them in a popular enough way. I guess.
Makes
like
perfect
vampires.
sense.
Everything I say makes sense.
It's true.
Duh.
It's true. You were just really got it together.
That's me, man. I mean, I watched
A lot of
96
Frasier.
hours of Frasier.
So I mean, you're gonna adopt some of their, like, you know, intelligence just by watching. It's kind of like how Rick and Morty fans are very smart.
they're the smartest people. Like, I've been told my IQ is not high enough where I wouldn't appreciate Rick and Morty.
Right. So, Frasier's a similar thing.
Exact same kind of show, man. I have actually had, like, I was telling Tyler I was watching the show, and he's like, oh, I've heard that is a show that is very smart. And, like, yes, but also a lot of times the joke of Frasier is that Frasier and Niles are, like, so...
They're not as smart as they put on.
They're not as smart as they put on. They miss, like, but also they're just, like, they think they're so smart and good, and then, like, they'll talk to people, and, like, they just, like, don't communicate on, like, any sort of level with people because their, like, language is, like, so filled with, like, purple poetry and stuff.
And they're pretentious, kind of, from what I remember.
Very, very pretentious. Like, there's the one of my favorite episodes is Frasier loses his briefcase to a character who ends up being played by, like, a very young-looking Nathan Lane. And, like, he's like, oh, you have my briefcase? He's like, yeah, I think so. And he's like, well, turn it over and see if there's a stain on it, as if a champagne flute has been caressed on it, and blah, blah, blah. And, like, he says a whole bunch of stuff. And the guy's just like, it's got your stuff in it. He's like, yes, that'll do it. That'll do it. It's just like, there's so many jokes in the show where they'll be like, oh, yes, the peonies are truly in bloom because blah, 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 blah. And then someone will be like, those are roses, dude. Those are dying, dead roses. Like, they're so pretentious and filled with this floral language that they just don't even, like, register things that regular people are able to catch because they're not, like, so sniffing their own farts or things like that.
Right.
But it is a very smartly... I mean, at least once an episode, I would Google a word to be like, what the fuck did Frasier just say?
The writers of the show probably did the same.
Yeah. Like, what's the one word? It was very funny, too, because the guy's like, yeah, this person talks too much. And then Frasier's like, yes, we've all once in a while been inconvenienced by somebody's, just imagine I just said an 8-syllable word. I don't remember what the word was. No, I can't think of it. It's gone. I do like Frasier. It's a good show.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out at some point. I watched a lot of it as, like, a kid, but I would appreciate it a lot more now, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. It's also interesting because, like, for a show with a laugh track, it's, you know, it's very, like, shows with a laugh track just come across, I don't know, very pandering.
Yeah.
Very lowbrow, I guess.
They give them a little bit more of a pass depending on when they came out.
Yeah. But especially nowadays, yeah, laugh track shows nowadays, like, a laugh track is almost, like,
off-putting.
Usually it's off-putting, but it's also a sign that, like, this show is, like, clinging to, like, I don't know, old ways of doing comedy. Sounds weird to say that, though, because, like, comedy's kind of, it's not timeless. I don't know. Laugh tracks just in general. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's telling you when to laugh instead of actually showing you why you should.
Yeah, it also just comes across as very tacky sometimes. Like,
yeah, I agree. I like how this drawing's coming along. Looks good.
Yeah. You did a good job with recreating the Doom cover. I spent
the words are awesome though. They look great.
Thank you.
They took you some time.
They did. They took me so much time, and I'm not even sure I'm happy with the result, to be honest.
Really?
But it's not like they're bad or anything. It's just like, these could look better.
Oh wait, you're probably gonna put the edge of that D in there.
I'm gonna put that D edge.
That D edge.
D edge.
Yeah.
Get that D edge. I feel like whenever we start doing an inside joke, we have to explain it. It's not like an inside joke, but
It's a quote some people might know.
Yeah, it's from Wanderlust.
Wanderlust?
Yeah. Yuck. Paul Rudd is Paul Rudd's wife gives him a hall pass, which is also a phrase I have never heard outside of movies or TV shows, but like movies and TV shows will always be like, oh yeah, hall passes. That's a common phrase. It's like, I don't know. I know people who are in open relationships and nobody uses the phrase like, oh, I gave him a hall pass.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, basically Paul Rudd's wife, Rudd and his wife, Paul gets fired from his job or whatever, and they move to like this, essentially like a commune, like a hippie commune.
Yeah.
And then Paul Rudd's wife gives him a hall pass in movies, I guess. A hall pass is when like your significant other is just like, yeah, you can fuck somebody else, but like just this once, and then we're back to being in a committed relationship.
And it always goes over very well in the movies.
It just goes over so smoothly. So yeah, Paul Rudd's wife gives it to him because I think she's also interested in the dude in the movie. But this lady is like explicitly interested in Paul Rudd, and then so Paul Rudd tries to like hit on this lady who's already interested in him. He's just like, oh yeah, you want some of that? Yeah. And that's me explaining the joke.
If I remember the plot, the wife wasn't really into it. She just kind of was like trying to make him happy, and then she ended up having way more success.
Yeah,
Than he did.
she's like, yeah, she's kind of like trying to make him break out of his shell because he's like really tightly wound or something like that, I think. So she's like, maybe this hall pass will help him out. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
I don't remember how much I really liked it. I just remember aspects.
Yeah, I remember enjoying it enough that like I had a good time watching it with the friends I watched it with. I'm not sure it's a movie I'd watch again, or I'd feel inclined. So like, if someone was just like, hey, like, if someone were to give me two movies and they're like, here's Role Models with Paul Rudd and Seann William Scott, or here's Wanderlust with Paul Rudd and I don't remember who plays his wife.
Leslie Mann, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that right? Judd Apatow's wife.
Yeah. I'd pick Role Models over Wanderlust.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think Role Models is actually a really funny movie still.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but last time I saw it, I thought it held up.
Yeah. I saw it like 5 years ago or something like that, but I do remember being like, this movie's still good. This movie hasn't aged a bit.
Wow. Wow.
Wow!
Boy, we're coming up on the end of the show already.
We are, and I haven't even finished these fucking words.
I can help you if you'd like.
Oh my god, if you could please.
I
Forgot to add the inner borders to this O and this D. What are we saying?
And to the D.
Oh shit, the like 3D stuff. There we go. D is done. B is almost done.
You'll have to direct me and tell me what to do.
I gotta figure out what color I want for the bottom of the half of the letters. The color I want for my bottom is brown, though. Because... Alright, I don't know.
That's filthy.
That is yep, literally filth. Literal filth.
You.
Does filth refer to poop in the mix as well, or is it just general
I mean, why not?
disgusting?
I don't think specifically, but
It says the actual definition according to the dictionary is disgusting dirt, so like dirt with an extra layer of gross to it. So really, what adds that layer of gross could be anything, even fecal matter.
But we're not allowed to talk about that.
No, we can't talk about it. Can't show people pooping it.
And I know you're all disappointed, but it's just the rules of the internet.
Sorry, folks. Can't draw people pooping anymore.
Jeff Bezos says no.
Jeff Bezos. Should we do another Jeff Bezos roast hour?
Maybe we can. if it comes naturally. I mean, not that it's hard
That
to do.
fucking motherfucker, Jeff Bezos. What a piece of shit. Fuck him. I hope he has bad things happen to him. Because
Oh man, that
wouldn't feel the least bit remorseful.
You'd have to go to the store though. To buy shit.
Yeah, that's true. I would have to in the store. Because Amazon owns everything now.
Yeah.
That piece of shit, Jeff Bezos.
Why I oughta.
Oh, I got a knuckle sandwich for you here, Bezos.
All right, what color do you want
You know,
on the bottom half of this?
Not a fan of the orange. In Doom, it's blue and yellow.
Yeah.
Like goldish yellow. I guess we could just try going for that other. Yeah, that works, I guess. I don't know.
Might
Kind
be
of
a little
blends
too
in.
close to the background.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So what if we... How about that? We go for some Dr. Mario colors here.
There you go. I'm all for it. I'll take it away.
Right. Did you play Dr. Mario as a kid?
Yeah, a little bit. It's good. It's like Tetris, but with some extra challenges.
It's like if Tetris met Bejeweled.
That is a good way to describe it, yes.
With a
Yeah.
bump in the soundtrack.
I like those games.
Yeah, me too. They're fun.
Mario, Tetris, you know,
All those
puzzly block stacking types of games.
puzzle games of where they'd really up the presentation. I was always interested in I'm not interested actually, but I was always curious about like there's like Capcom Street Fighter Puzzle Fighter game series where it's like it's Street Fighter but it's a puzzle game, but you fight through the puzzles. I think Mortal Kombat Deception I think had a mode similar to that in it, or it was Annihilation. One of the PS2 Mortal Kombat games after Deadly Alliance had a puzzle mode in it.
Okay.
Which was fun. It was just interesting. I think the Capcom Puzzle Fighter games were similar.
I haven't played any of those. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
me
think of
neither.
some kind of equivalent that I might have played, but I can't think of any.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what would make this fighting more fun? Puzzles.
Yeah, it's just who was in that board meeting and who was the one who decided to jam those two elements together. It's just a interesting concept.
It's an interesting combo for sure. Me and Morgan started a puzzle recently, and boy, the
Jigsaw?
pieces are coming together. Yeah, Jigsaw. You know, you take the piece, you find where it goes, you put it there, and that's, you know. Need I say more?
I don't think so.
Okay, good, because I didn't know anymore.
Okay, cool. I did a jigsaw puzzle at a friend's party once, which seems like a lame way to pass by a party, but it wasn't.
I feel like I would get. Was everybody involved, or was it like in the corner and you were just doing a puzzle?
So like, I would say there was like a team of 4 of us who ended up getting really dedicated to the puzzle, and then like occasionally people would pop by and like participate for like 10 minutes, try and get a couple pieces together, and then like they would go and do other stuff at the party. But like me and at least 3 or 4 I'd say 3 or 4 or 5 other people were like hunkered down and were like, we're really gonna solve this fucking puzzle.
Yeah.
We also did some Jackbox games. It was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun, especially because sometimes it's hard to get people to really get into the spirit. Like there's that one it's the one where you invent stuff. I usually remember the name. It's Patently Stupid.
Oh yeah.
And in that one, you make the invention, you give it the name, you answer the prompt, etc., and then it gives you the option of presenting your own invention or having the game present for you. And whenever the game presents it for you, it's just like I have this problem. And then, like, the words go on the screen. But here's my solution. And here's my tagline. And obviously that's fine. No, it's not. It's so the best way, like, obviously it's the best when people actually present their own inventions.
Yeah.
So, like, I was presenting my inventions because I always choose that because it's just the most fun. It's the best way to get the fun out of the game. And then, like, no one else was doing that, which usually is the case. Like, usually people are very hesitant to really start doing that sort of thing, like presenting their own inventions and stuff, because it's just an extra layer of activity that maybe not everybody sat down to get involved in.
And also you kind of have to, like, get up and act in front of everybody, which isn't everybody's shtick. Everybody's cool with that.
So, these two girls who were, I think they're dating each other, but they decided to, like, act as a team. And then they started presenting their inventions, and then, like, once they started doing the presentations, like, everybody who was playing started actually presenting their things, and I was just like, thank you so much for actually, like, getting people into, like, the spirit of this, because this is way more fun when everybody's presenting.
It's the way it's meant to be played. It's almost one of those games, like, if you're not doing that aspect of it, it's almost not really worth playing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's almost not worth it. Which is also why it's like the newest Jackbox puzzle pack. They have that one talking points.
Yeah, it's like a PowerPoint. It's like a TED Talk type game.
Yeah, TED Talk the game, which is, it sounds boring, but I love it. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great.
But a lot
of people, energy as that patently stupid.
Exactly, and a lot of people aren't super about it because it requires you to basically give a presentation.
Yeah.
But when I've played a good game of that, it's so much fun. But, like, a lot of times people be like, "Oh, I hate this game. It's so dumb," and stuff. It's just like,
it relies on some certain aspects for it to, like, really flow and be fun.
Yeah.
I've also played where the person presenting was, like, nervous, so they were just, like, skipping through really fast, and the person who was supposed to be setting it up for them just couldn't react in any capacity in time, so it just didn't really work. And then, like, it's over, and it's like, this is the person who ran it, and the person who had to talk just looks at him like, thanks for nothing. It's like, it was you. You went too fast.
You sabotaged yourself.
But yeah, that's a fun one. The new pack has a lot of really good stuff in it. I recommend everybody check that out if you like Jackbox.
Yeah, highly recommend. And if you don't know what Jackbox party packs are, I highly recommend you check them out as well if you have friends to play with, because they are super duper fun.
Yeah, you can even do it over, like, a stream, you know, if you have to know how. So that's still a way to do it if you aren't really seeing people like most of us right now.
Yeah. I would say that, like,
all the more reason to do it this year, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, you were saying, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I've played more Jackbox during quarantine than I ever did.
Yeah, it's perfect timing for it.
Yeah. It's also funny because I try to get my parents into the Jackbox party packs, which it's had varying degrees of success. Like, it's just very funny playing with people who aren't used to playing the games, because a lot of times you'll do a thing on your phone or your computer or whatever, and then the game will say, like, now just wait while everybody else finishes their thing that they're doing that you just did. And then almost invariably somebody will be like, what do I do now? And it's just like, you fucking wait. It says so.
Follow directions.
And so, like, every time I play a game, like, with my parents that they haven't played before, they ask that, like, what's going, like, the game I have found that they don't complain about is the You Don't Know Jack quiz games.
My least favorite.
I like them, but they're quiz games. So, like, there's not as much creativity and stuff involved as the other games, but my parents enjoy them because they apparently hate being creative. So we'll be playing the quiz games, and then, like, they have the one mode called Dis or Dat where one person who has the lowest score gets asked a bunch of questions, and then they have to pick one answer or the other. and then they get points, and everybody else who is not involved tries to steal the answers, but like they can only steal them if the person got them wrong. Rules, etc., etc., etc. But every time I have to re-explain the rules to my parents, because even though I explain them and the game explains them, and then I explain the rules again, my parents are still just like, I'm confused. And I'm just like, I don't know how to break this down any simpler for you. It's...
I know my family would really dig the Jackbox, and I bring it every time we have like a get together, but years running, I don't think I've successfully got them to play once yet, so keep trying. And as soon as they do, they're going to be like, this is great, why didn't we do this sooner? And I'll pull my hair out.
Yeah. I did play a role model with my parents, which for those watching, role models is this one game where basically you get a bunch of categories and then you rank your other fellow players.
Yeah.
In like who fits what part of that category the best, and it's a lot of fun because a lot of times the game will then be like, you are this kind of personality, and a lot of times because of the way people answer, the game's actually fairly spot on.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the one category was Greg's, and I was like, well, I gotta see what Greg's is, and so like they were like, who is funny Greg, who is scary Greg, who is mean Greg. And so we voted unanimously as a family that our mom was Mean Greg. So she's kind of taken that as like a calling card now. Like whenever we play the quiz game, she calls herself Mean Greg. If she does something, she'll be like, I'm Mean Greg, remember? So it's just kind of a funny.
That is funny.
Yeah. DrawBomb. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're making these words better.
I'm just adding a little lighting.
And some sprinkles to these Pop-Tarts.
That's right.
Because I realized the colors are kind of like that one Pop-Tart. Just a little bit.
They are, you're right.
To be fair though, it's a great color scheme. I mean...
Complimentary? Well, no, not really.
Triadic, I would say.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe, I don't know.
Are they blue raspberry?
I don't know, but they're purple and blue. It's like the whole...
Purple. It was the first time Pop-Tarts had a flavor that wasn't the strawberry, I think.
Did you know that there were a thing that was... That Pop-Tarts original thing was unfrosted Pop-Tarts? The hell is that about?
The fuck?
Yeah, it's like a pastry with nothing. It's a joke. That's what it is.
Yeah. Fuck, I don't know any part of that. So they're not complimentary, but they are. If you especially with the yellow we just added, it's a chromatic triad.
Okay.
Wildberry Pop-Tarts, that's what they are.
That is the ones. I remember those. Put Pop-Tarts on the map.
I think so. I mean, before... I'm pretty sure Wildberry Pop-Tarts were the first time they because I remember, I don't know if I'm remembering this wrong, but I remember having Pop-Tarts as a kid, and it was always the strawberry flavor.
No, they had other flavors.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why the Wildberry sticks out so much in my head then.
Because it was the first time they tried to get I think the frosting was just white on all of them before that. Well, that's not true because they have there's like a brown sugar one and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
They started to get a little crazy with the colors.
Yeah.
And also I remember being a kid and being like, I need those. Those are delicious, I can tell by looking at them. And they're just the same as all the rest.
Yeah, the brown sugar ones are delicious though. Or the cinnamon Pop-Tarts, those are good.
Yeah.
Ugh, I clicked this link for these Wildberry Pop-Tarts info, and I ended up giving a click to Barstool Sports. Ugh.
Whoopsie.
Gross. No, thank you. I think not.
Say some more like sassy phrases about how you feel about the
girlfriend.
Yeah, just like that. Perfect. I think you got one more in you.
Thanks, but no.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I think that's a good amount.
Is that good? We got all the takes we needed.
Yeah, we got everything we need.
Okay. Cool. And now you're adding battle scars to the logo.
Just a little bit.
Let's just go back in and like add the digital computer panel effect of the original logo. Let's do another hour on these letters. What do you say?
I'm just about done. We should just paste the actual art over top of this.
Yeah.
And then it'll really look like it.
Do a 50% opacity so that it's almost like a... Here, I can actually do that for us right now. Hold on. 1 second.
When I was a kid, we had in our clubhouse, we called our clubhouse Club Doom. And it was a club where you get together to talk about all things Doom. Yeah, and you know, I don't think it's not around anymore today. It has since dissolved.
Oh.
Club Doom.
Club ownership went through too many changes.
Yeah, something like that. There's a lot of problems. Okay.
There you go. How do you like it?
It looks like
this picture is done.
There's some weird like fever dream like effect that's happening.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting dizzy looking at it.
It was all a dream.
Which says that there's some aspects that are kind of close to the real thing.
Well, I'm gonna try and move it so that's a little bit more. It's not. Hold on.
As long as it's not stuck there and ruins the drawing.
Oh, it's stuck there already.
Permanent.
Yeah. Tattooed it right over top of the original picture.
Flatten those layers instantly.
Yeah. Right click, merge visible. No, there is actually a merge layer button.
You stay away from that layer.
Technically, if you wanted to be super accurate, we'd have another dude like running up behind one.
Yeah, but I figured, no.
Look at those Barons of Hell or Hell Knights.
They love the Doom Boy.
They love him so much. Should we have like a little wick coming out the back of his helmet?
We could do that.
Draw that real quick. You don't worry your pretty little head. I got this one.
All right. That way we both worked on the illustration part.
I worked on the drawing some. You know what's something interesting I've noticed recently with our drawings of the DrawBomb characters is we do have a little bit of a variation in how we do the wicks.
Yeah, that's true. Let me think how I do mine. I usually do them like it gets like that at the end. Right?
Yeah, like you did it like someone and then like fizzled it out.
I'm gonna try to make it look like it's burning.
Oh, okay, so it's supposed to be burning.
Well, it's supposed to. It does look kind of fizzled out, but it's like supposed to be like a rope that's kind of burning up, fizzling out. I don't know.
It's more accurate to how a wick looks, I think, than it's actually like burning. Because wicks really don't do the firework like jumping spark sort of look when they're.
They kind of do. I mean, they look like a sparkler.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like a fuse.
I don't know. I haven't been around too many lit dynamite wicks.
That's a good thing. Try to keep it that way.
I'm gonna, but gosh, it feels like it's harder every year to stay away from those lit dynamite.
Yeah,
wicks.
it is harder for sure. That's a good drawing right there. That's a fine drawing. Can I save it?
I am okay with that. Yes.
Okay.
I'll give myself a pat on the back.
Cool. Give yourself one from me as well.
Okay.
All right, that's enough. I wouldn't give you that many if it were me there. You're...
Let me do it in reverse now.
You have to pull. Alright. We've reached the logical conclusion of this show.
I think so. We've reached the end of logic in this particular episode, I think.
That's usually how it ends, I would say.
Yeah, we usually just get so tired by the end of like one drawing, so we're just like, oh god, I don't fucking know.
But I see we have a few people watching now. If you're a fan of what you see in here, smash that follow button, crush that
button.
You know,
Punch your
just
grandma.
Obliterate that subscribe button if you're so inclined.
Go to the newest hospital that's been built near you and eat all of the biological samples.
That's probably illegal.
No, that's 100% illegal. You probably actually shouldn't do that.
No, I can't see any reason why you would do that, but who am I to tell people how to live? Anyways, I think on that note, I should play us out. What do you think?
Should we send the viewers to rate anybody's channel?
Oh man, potentially. I don't know who's on. I'm not on my. You can take a peek, see if anybody's worth sending them. In the meantime, do you have anything to plug?
Just this little stream show I do every Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern.
What's that called?
It's called DrawBomb. It's where these two dumbasses like draw pictures and talk nonsense to each other.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I would say the same thing. On top of that, me and my female roommate recently started selling some art that we make. It kind of varies what we're making, different stuff all the time. Right now it's like stickers, and soon there'll be more. You can check out our page at paperbag_creative on Instagram. Paperbag_creative. We recently, just today, we put up an Etsy shop, so check that out. Buy some stuff. Makes great gifts, or at least, you know, I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah, check that stuff out. Other than that, I'm gonna play us out.
Yeah.
A little early on that one. All right. Thanks everybody for watching.
Bye.
Bye.